Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nature's Calls podcast. As always, I am your host, Nature Erdman, here to talk about all things Chargers football. And I don't even know where to start today. Just a complete, unmitigated disaster of a football game. Just heartbreaking from a fan perspective to watch our team go from what we were the first 3 weeks to what we've been the last 2 weeks. I actually didn't even get to record after the Giants game. Didn't really get to record this week, which was just a complete disaster of sloppy football, allowing ourselves to continue to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. In that Giants game, like, we had every opportunity to win that game and we just couldn't execute on it. Today was just embarrassing from that second quarter on. And I don't know if it hurt worse because we played so well for that first quarter. Like, Justin was surgical. Amarian was running well. The offensive line looked like they had gotten some practice reps without Joe Alt to kind of have that bounce back from what we had looked like in the Giants game where everything was a mess, but it wasn't. It was a complete and utter disaster. It was Becton going back out. It was Pipkins going out. It was ending up with the worst case scenario of we have no depth on this offensive line and what we were all worried about all year. And it's been amplified by injuries to all of the most critical people. Like, who was our best offensive lineman going into the year? Slater, out before the season started. Second best, easily Joe Alt, out. Third best, Mekhi Becton, out. Fourth best was Trey Pipkins, who wasn't even a starter at the beginning of the year, but he plays pretty well at swing tackle, out. The two people we were the most worried about going into the season, Zion's played pretty well. Cool, he's a left guard. How much is that going to affect the offensive line overall? Then you got Bradley Bozeman, who's arguably the worst center in football. And not only that, it's this game after seeing Greg Roman's comments this week saying that Bradley Bozeman's not the problem. He's playing pretty well and actually putting more blame on Justin Herbert, which is he's the only reason we even had any semblance of an offense today. And we didn't in the second half because he had 2.1 seconds to throw because the offensive line is a complete and unmitigated disaster. Like, this was our offensive line at the end of the game. Austin Deculus, who is like 104th out of 113 tackles on PFF, which PFF grades, who cares all that much to some extent, but it does matter. Like, you're not going to be a decent tackle and then grade horribly. Like, he's a depth piece. He should be a third stringer. Problem is that we're starting third stringers with an injury-prone team that has now bitten us in the ass. You've got at left guard Zion Johnson playing pretty well, middle of the road tackle, not special, but he's playing well. Bradley Bozeman, who is, I believe, now 47th out of 48 ranked centers, depending on which way you look at rankings. I know some people have 64 ranked centers, but horrible. And not the miscommunications, the arguments they seem to be having on the offensive line between Justin Herbert and Bradley Bozeman today. Like, we have to make a change. We have to make a change at center. At what point do you have to acknowledge what's done? Like, Foster Sorrell was starting at right guard and probably will. I mean, Becton will probably be back, but we'll see. Who knows how it's going to shake up? And then you had Jamari at tackle. We went into the season with 4 first-round picks on the offensive line and Bradley Bozeman at center. And we ended up with, 3 sixth-round picks, Zion Johnson, and an undrafted free agent. And I know 6th-round picks can turn into legit starters. I'm not saying that they have to be a high draft pick, but oh my God, it was embarrassing. And then the defense completely underperformed. Hampton goes out. Like, what are we supposed to be now? Amarian Hampton looks like a high ankle sprain. It's the year of the high ankle sprain, apparently. Like, oh my God. Like, what are we supposed to do? What would you do? What is the offense supposed to look like? I can't even fault Greg Roman at this point, even though I can with everything else that's happened. But what's he supposed to do now? What is this team supposed to even look like? How would you construct an offense around an offensive line that bad, allowing historically bad time to throw, 2.16 seconds time to pressure, something like that? The drop back, play everything from the shotgun and turn into some quick game. You have Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey. You just run them running short routes all the time. You don't have a running back that can catch a ball in the flat. Come on, Iguodala. You're going to end up getting 6 targets a game for a total of 5 yards. Like, it's they can't chip block. What do you do? What do you do? What is this offense going to look like? Now, I get Joe Alt could be coming back soon. Mekhi Becton should be back with a club on his hand. What do you do the rest of the way? So you put Joe Alt at left tackle. You keep Zion at left guard. You have to put Andre James at center at some point. If you don't, it's just coaching malpractice at this point. And the fan base will absolutely turn on this coaching staff. And honestly, kind of somewhat rightfully so. Because who even knows if Andre James is that bad? Because he's been great in the past. Bradley Bozeman has not been great in years. He's been cut by multiple teams. Foster Sherrill's been cut by multiple teams. Austin Deculus got traded because he wasn't going to make the roster because he was going to get cut. Zion Johnson, we didn't pick up his fifth-year option because he has not been as advertised. Jamari Salyer would be a depth piece on any team. Like, this is where we are at now. And then Jesse Minter's defense does not look good. Does not look good at all. You have Kamani Vidal and Hassan Haskins as your running backs. I didn't blame the team for the Rocket Sanders cut because running backs don't usually get picked up on waiver wires. The Browns were desperate. But now their third, fourth string running back is better than our starter. Cool. Thank God the Mariners won today. Otherwise, you wouldn't see me here. What looked good today? The play calling looked suspect. The special teams looked horrible. The linebackers looked out. Everyone looked out of position. Everyone on the defense looked out of position. And I don't know if it's people starting to get an idea of Jesse Minter or if we're just undisciplined. We were so undisciplined on defense, on special teams, penalties, offensive, everywhere. We were so undisciplined. And you look at last week, and that was our biggest knock, was like we were an undisciplined team, and that's why we lost. And we did not turn any of that around today. Anything, not even close. No semblance of fixing the slop that we had last week. Corners were getting beat every single reception. Debo was just, first of all, Debo was not that fast anymore. Debo is a veteran player who is savvy and plays well. Don't get me wrong. But every time they targeted him, we were sprinting to catch up to him because corners were well out of position. Ben St. Juste was getting toasted. Everyone on the back end was getting toasted. Heeb continues to make these mental errors over and over again. Does not look like the stud that he did last year. Looks like he still has the talent to do it, but just does not look buttoned up whatsoever. Derwin wasn't able to put the team on his back. He played okay. Dayon looks slow. Looks slow compared to what he looked at the beginning of the year. He was flying all over the field, and he looked slow and out of position and lost. The safeties were constantly out of position. The defensive lines, the defensive tackles were subpar. I'm not going to fault them. They looked better than any other position group on the defense. The edges looked horrendous. Thule looked all right, but we couldn't set an edge to save our life. Whatever side Thule wasn't on, they just ran it to that side all the time. And the linebackers and the safeties were biting every single time, and then they'd beat us to the edge for a huge gain. Scored on the two Bill touchdowns were like identical runs. We just didn't have the athleticism to keep up. Like, we looked like a subpar team. Like, if you're going to build a roster that has to play above expectation all of the time, these games are going to happen. But when you have that much cap space and you're going into year two and you have a chance to kind of build your identity, that is not how you should look. Justin Herbert, I thought, played like an immaculate game of football. I really did. I've seen some Herbert hate, but I don't see what he could have done differently. He had a couple drop passes in there. The Conklin drop was just embarrassing. That whole sequence of we have 10 guys on the field. They're screaming at the sideline to get another guy out there. Conklin comes running onto the field. Play goes to him straight through his hands into the face mask. And then the broadcast has the audacity to be like, Conklin didn't even have his head turned around there. It smacked him in the face. Like, where do you go from here as a coaching staff to not lose the locker room? What message do you have to deliver this week and have it resonate to your team? Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. The offensive weapons are staying healthy, but you can't throw the football to them. The running back's gone. We finally figured out how to use him, and he was incredibly clutch in the sense of we had no time to throw the football. So using him in that screen game was fantastic, but it doesn't matter because he's gone now. 4 to 6 weeks probably would be my guess. The fact that he's in a walking boot today tells me it's probably at least 4 weeks. Do not be surprised if he's on IR on Monday, Tuesday, whatever comes out. But Like, you get Joe Alt back, you get Mekhi Becton back, you put Andre James in, there's some semblance of an opportunity to make something change, but Pipkins is likely going to be out a few weeks. Like, where do you go from here? Jamari at right tackle, Becton at right guard, Zion at left guard. That could work. It could be something. It could be better than like historically bad offensive line play, but I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. It was as backbreaking of a loss for a team. Like, it's hard to come back from that as a team when you go through something like that. Like, what went well? What did we do good? You have Marlo Wax getting that roughing the kicker penalty. I don't blame the guy, but what a change of momentum. Let's talk about the momentum changes. You go down score again. You're up 10-0. Driving down the field again looks fantastic. Beautiful ball to QJ. Absolutely beautiful. And I don't fault QJ for this, but he fumbles it. First fumble in his career. The tackle was fantastic. Knocked the ball out. I don't fault QJ for how that happened. But they come down the field and they score. Rough. And then they score again before halftime because we have that blocked punt situation. And then they come out of the halftime and they score again. Like, you go from pinning them at the 1 to Ladd McConkey punt return 55-yard, whatever it was, touchdown to go into the halftime well up. And then they bomb the football to Luke McCaffrey, dink and dunk us, and score. Just like that. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Tied at halftime instead of going up 17-7. You come out of halftime, they immediately score, and we had lost total control. The edge rushers just pinned us down. Kingsbury had perfect game plan to march us down the field, take advantage of everything we've been seeing. And Cliff Kingsbury is an excellent offensive play caller. He is. But we just got torn apart. Did you see Jaden Daniels just having a lunch in the fucking backfield? The guy had no pressure whatsoever all game. All game. At some point, blitz, bro. At some point, we have to bring extra pressure and blitz some. Like, you have to do something. Because either the defense, the back end of the defense, isn't talented enough to hold up to all that time. And so they're going to score on you anyway, whether you have an extra body back there anyway. Or you bring extra pressure, put a little bit more pressure on that secondary, but they're losing anyway because there's not enough talent back there to hold up long term when they have 7 seconds to throw the football. Are you joking? Is as embarrassing of a loss as I can remember. And in regards to, we are not who we thought we were. Like, we are not the Chargers team that most of us fans thought we were after a couple games. Now, a lot of us knew we had our limitations and our weaknesses, but we were playing extremely well. Like Jesse Minter, if you're just trying to avoid a head coaching job, and so you're losing to some out-of-conference teams, cheers to you. Thanks for wanting to stay a Charger. But what the hell are we doing out there? These are critical games we're losing in the division. With the Broncos beating the Eagles, like, what do we do from here? You can't fix the offensive line midseason. It's not going to happen. You can't really fix the edge rusher position. You go trade for Breece Hall so you have some semblance of an offense. Cool, I'll take it. Closest thing to Armari and Hampton in the league playstyle-wise. But, with the Braylon Allen injury, that's not happening. Like, what do you do? How do you fix this? You don't. Rondé Gadsden needs to start immediately. Tyler Conklin, we're cutting you off. I'm at a loss for words. Like, Justin Herbert, it was getting meleeed back there. If this holds up, he's going to end up with his career high in sacks. Just get absolutely pummeled back there. Like, you talk about doing Justin Herbert a disservice after the Houston game, and you go get him some offensive weapons, but you don't invest in the offensive line, the interior offensive line. You go sign one guy to a 2-year deal because you know he's injury prone, and you know he had one good season that has been an anomaly so far. And you count on that to fix the biggest problem on your team. You double down at the worst position that we had, which was center last year, because you like him. Like, let's talk about that for a second. Bradley Bozeman's here because he's Greg Roman's guy and he loves him. And Harbaugh maybe does too. Why is Greg Roman here? Because he's Jim Harbaugh's guy and he loves him. Like at some point, dissension has to happen from this coaching staff. Like we can't just be happy about it all the time. And I'm a huge Jim Harbaugh fan. Like I'm glad that he's the coach of my team. But at some point, we're going to start getting antsy and frustrated because when you talk about something some way, because it's not as if he's out here being like, okay, we're going to build around the team that can come out here and score and do that. Like we're not. They're openly admitting and talking about the offensive line being the most critical part of football. Justin Herbert has spoken about, or not Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh has spoken about this since before he got the Chargers job. I swear to God, maybe it was the first opening press conference, but it's the tip of the spear. Everything runs through the offensive line. Everything relies on the offensive line to be great. And you just don't care about it? Did you fail in free agency that like we could not attract offensive linemen? Like offensive linemen theoretically love run blocking, theoretically. Greg Roman's our offensive coordinator. Everybody thought we were going to run the football up, down, left, right, and sideways. And we don't, but you would think that that's a pretty good attraction to get somebody over here. Like, or did you just not care? Like we could shore up the guard position, but it doesn't solve our tackle problem. Like Zion and Becton, if they can both play well, it doesn't like we need the depth there. Obviously, after a game like this where Foster Sorrell's starting, like you need depth there. But it's infuriating. It feels like a slap in the face, and I think that's why Chargers fans are also frustrated right now because we all had the same conversations all offseason. You didn't fix what was broken. You had all the cap space in the world. You used a chunk of it. You didn't even use all of it. Which I'm not opposed to the team building strategy, but you ignore the most important positions in football. You build this incredible defensive line depth by committee to where half the people some of the people that we played in the offseason weren't actually seeing snaps, but you didn't do the same at the offensive line position. Like, it's not even that their bodies that we had got are all failing. No, the bodies that we got are now playing and are now being even signed, like between Sorrell and Deculus, because like injuries were happening. That's why those happened. There was no forethought in this whatsoever. It was, okay, best case scenario, we have 2 studs at tackle, maybe a stud at right guard, and then the other 2 positions are a huge issue, and let's just hope nothing goes wrong. Well, guess what? The 2 healthy people are the 2 people that were our biggest issues. And Zion Johnson, don't get me wrong, is playing pretty well. But Bradley Bozeman is a complete and total liability. Like, I did not think I was going to get on this and start talking about the offensive line entirely. Thought I was going to talk about how everybody looked poor. Like, let's talk linebackers. Slow. Lost. 2 words I wrote down for him. Corners. Behind. Missing tackles. Where's the discipline on tackles? Everyone was missing tackles. They looked like they gave up. Everyone was missing tackles. They had so many broken tackles, so many yards after contact. The safeties looked like they were in the wrong position half of the time. The edge rushers could not set an edge in the run game whatsoever. Could not produce any pressure whatsoever. There was no blitzing. There was no trying to account for the lack of pressures that we were generating. It was, let's just keep hoping that something changes. We're going to keep doing the same thing, and hopefully Debo doesn't keep beating us over the top. And guess what? Kept beating us over the top. Like, they were just picking us to parts, to pieces, man. It was non-disruptive for the defensive line. I thought I was going to come here and talk about half all that, but really, nothing's going to matter if we can't fix the offensive line. And we can't. Like, we can't fix it. We can adjust and possibly be better enough and then hope that Justin Herbert still has enough hero ball in him to save us in these games. Because he could. Like, we don't need much. We see that. The receivers are, for the most part, being able to get open in decent separation. If we can get 3 seconds before the throw, 2.8 seconds, we'll be able to compete again if Omari and Hampton comes back. What are you going to do at the running back position? Are you going to trot out Vidal and Haskins? Are you just going to let Justin Herbert suffer an injury? Knock on wood, but come on. What are we doing? You want him to get beat out there. He played fantastic football today. It was remarkable. It was surgical. Like, the best you can do for us in the offseason is sign Andre James, who you will treat like a redheaded stepchild, and re-sign Bradley Bozeman to a 2-year contract. I just, what do you say at this point? How do you justify it? How do you justify the coaching mishaps that were up, down, left, right, and sideways? The lack of players being able to execute. They didn't look prepared at all. Like Mariota came in and played the last 2 games. Guess what? That offense looked the same. There was no adjust. Like it was still Cliff Kingsbury's offense ran it the exact same. So you can't sit here and say that there wasn't any tape. You didn't know how Jaden Daniels was going to play coming off the knee injury. He was less likely to scramble. Still was beating us with his legs. Like it was an inexcusable loss to lose in that fashion. That was failure at every single level. The only people who I'm not going to fault today are the receivers because it's not their fault they couldn't get separation within 2.1 seconds. Justin Herbert because I didn't really see a whole lot of mistakes. The interception, I didn't like the decision that he made. The first down there really should have gone to Ladd on the outside because he was open in the corner of the end zone. The short yardage play calling is still rough. The interception, but I mean, when you're getting that much push from the defensive line and their hands are getting up, what do you do? Like, yes, Justin Herbert does not have that low of a release, but the consistent poor offensive line play are letting people get that close. Like that throw was like, what do you do? What do you do at a certain point? And I'm running out of excuses for the team. Like, it's sad that it's reared its ugly head this way. It's sad that all of our biggest concerns are now like we're weaponizing it against the coaching staff because they didn't listen. The coaching staff in the front office, they didn't listen. They didn't pay attention. They didn't see it was clear as day to see last year. And we were all hoping on best case scenario. And guess what? It's not best case scenario. So now what are you going to do? Like a microscope is on the worst parts of our team, but it's mattering that much. You didn't go get top end talent in the secondary. You didn't do anything to reinforce the edge position with Joey Bosa leaving, which we needed to reinforce anyway because Joey Bosa was never on the field. You didn't do anything to reinforce the offensive line outside of Mekhi Becton. And sure enough, you got Justin Herbert as weapons. Cool. Keenan Allen literally fell into your lap. If Trey Harris was out there, I think he'd be able to eat up some of that too, but Keenan Allen is old reliable. Like, you almost lucked into the weapons side of things being fixed. And I think Trey Harris and KLS would be able to pick up some of this scrap. Like, they'd be able to hold their own out there. But Rondé Gadsden is still not, like, you had Tyler Conklin out there in a clutch situation and he failed. So, like, you've failed the team. You failed Justin Herbert. You failed the fans. And that's fair to say. Like, you can't sit here and argue with me that it's not. Now, there are silver linings. Like, can we turn this around? Yes. Can we still be an 11-12 win team? Yes. I actually believe that. But everything has to go right. Like, you have to make the right decisions on this offensive line. Joe Alt can't get re-injured. Mekhi has to be able to play just as well with a club hand, which is not well right now. He's like 83rd out of 103 guards. Mekhi Becton is not playing well. You have to clean up the lack of discipline. You have to generate edge pressure. Cleo Mack has to come back healthy and strong. Thule has to continue to play the way that he is. You have to generate more pressure so that the secondary doesn't get picked apart. And if all of those things happen, yes, we can be a viable team again. What are the odds of that happening? How often do teams fix every single issue? And Amari and Hampton's out. Like, where do you go from here? We're going to find out next week versus the Dolphins, that's for sure. Which, that's a lot of speed. Like, Tyreek's out. Jalen Waddle had a great game today. Like, the Devon A. How are you going to stop? What are you going to do to stop Devon Achane? If I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm looking at that and I'm just saying edges every time. Run it to the edges every single time. Over and over again, spam it. Throw downfield as soon as Tarheeb still turns his back, you're going to get a pass interference. Do it over and over again. Put Jalen Waddle on him, and you're going to win. You're going to win because if you outrun Tarheeb still, the safeties aren't in the right position. Tarheeb's going to draw a PI call. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I wish I had some silver linings here. Silver lining is Justin Herbert's a stud. Um, he can make a lot of magic out of nothing. If we can just improve 15%, I think that we can really turn this offense. If we can just get him 2.5 seconds to throw us at a 2.1, like you're going to see improvement. But Austin Deculus, Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, Foster Sorrell, and Jamari Salyer. What do we do about it, guys? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll sleep on it, have a little something better to say tomorrow or Wednesday, but I got nothing positive right now. Anyway, go Bolts. Tough loss. We're all sharing in this same horrible feeling right now together. At least the Mariners are finally, in 25 years, making postseason noise. I got something to cheer for, but it's going to be a long road back. Come on, Jim Harbaugh. Don't make me lose faith. Mike Devlin needs to be fired, and go Bolts. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys like what you heard, please feel free to give me a like and subscribe. Helps me a ton. Also helps you guys stay up to date on all new content as I'm releasing it. If you're not already on my YouTube channel, feel free to hop on over at Nature's Calls Pod. Also on Spotify under Nature's Calls Podcast. Or if you like to consume your content just by scrolling, go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter at Erdman Chargers. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Talk to you real soon.